All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Professional Time Wasters podcast. Coolshirt's back.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, he wasn't here last week, but he's here. He's here now. Welcome back.
That's right. I fell off a cliff.
You did. Well, hey, at least you came back. We're still waiting for Fifth.
You see, I died, but I lived.
I died, but I lived. Now, so this episode, let's jump right into it, is kind of your baby. You're the one that came up with this topic, so
I was doom scrolling. Oh man, I'll just go ahead and just give you the reason why this was like. It was like 3 a.m. one night, and I was on YouTube, and I found this video on YouTube of this guy going over like his like giant collection of like VHS, DVDs, and records, and all these different things and whatnot. And I had thought about it. Like I've been inadvertently over the last like 5 years or so, like trying to pad out my collection of physical media because of just how predatory digital media and streaming services has become. And I think it's an important topic to talk about, just how much better physical media actually is. And like, yeah, the biggest downside is, it takes up a lot of space, but I'm kind of sick of this whole minimalism fucking trend that's going around these days anyways. I'd rather have a rack of DVDs and VHS or fucking CDs and CD racks and stuff like that. Like, do you remember those from back in the day? Like the CD racks next to your TV and stuff like that? Like those, like with all the different titles where you could just grab it and put it in the DVD player?
What do you mean? I still have one.
Exactly. I don't have one. I'm kind of sad.
I actually have multiple because I have so many different... I'm kind of like in the same boat. I have so many different video game like different like consoles, cartridges, and discs and all that.
Yeah.
That you need to organize them in a very specific way. So I have a ton of them actually. I also have a ton of bookends.
Okay, I have a lot of the bookends and stuff, and I collect books as well. Like I'm a huge just any type of physical media. It doesn't matter what it is. Like art books, magazines, manga. I mean, I've been a huge manga collector for a while. I probably have I definitely have a bigger manga collection than you, but you have a much bigger like anime figurine collection than I do, but that's not physical media. It's a completely different story.
That's gooner shit.
That's the gooner shit. That's just the, our autism for collectibles and stuff like that. But
as I look over here, funny enough, my anime figure like shelf has been taken over by Transformers.
I mean, Transformers are pretty cool.
Like you have Astolfo John the Arc flanked by Ultra Magnus and Optimus Prime and Superion. So
hell yeah. All that's missing is to add Blaster in there and you're good to go.
No, here's the thing with Blaster, before we get back on topic, is the movie, which the 86 movie, they gave him a fuck ton of cassettes.
Real tangent real quick here. Are you going to go to theaters in August whenever they do the 40th anniversary for that film?
I was talking
because I keep seeing a bunch of promotional stuff about that recently.
I was talking with my dad about... I'm
going to force my brother to go see it with me. I might even see if I can get my cousins.
I was talking with my dad about... because I used to go to this dollar movie place in like my old town when I was in high school. They shut it down a long time ago. Dollar movies in general haven't been a thing in close to a decade at this point.
Yeah. Like dollar movies, Blockbuster, like rental movie fucking services and stuff like that.
No.
Like, do you remember Redbox and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, no. There's that.
I there's still some of those around. I don't know where they're all at, but I've heard legends that they still exist.
They do. They shut down, but you can actually just straight up buy the movies from them now, like from there. Whatever they have left, because of course they've been...
I know so many people who would just rent shit from that and just never return it.
Yeah. No, but so like the whole dollar movie thing was very much like I would go to these discount movie theaters if they were still a thing, selling tickets to old movies, like old blockbusters. But that's a whole rabbit hole in of itself, and selling rights and all that, and why those kinds of theaters and like the local mom and pop theaters are being run out of business. Basically, that's a
Yeah.
whole other topic.
I wish there was those types of theaters around me, but I don't have those. All I've got is like there used to be a mom and pop theater in my local town, but that got closed down and bulldozed down like maybe 3 years ago, I want to say.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. I think it was Shady Brook Theaters. Yeah, rip in the chat. They had like one of the coolest murals back in like the early 2000s with like a bunch of like the hit movies from like the 90s and early 2000s. Just like it was like painted by like a local guy who painted like a bunch of the like famous like actors or characters from like different animated movies and different films and stuff like that at the time. It was really cool.
Yeah. That I mean, that's kind of what's killing not only culture in general, but physical media. Is all these corporations? It's not that they're evil. I'm not going to sit here and say that corporations are evil. Some of them
You're evil.
Some of them aren't exactly morally righteous, but they don't, publicly traded ones anyway, aren't here for the consumer. They're here for shareholders. And that's what's really killing everything, not just physical media in this case, just all aspects of society. Is,
I mean, it kind of comes down to just like it's art, but not like being done for the sake of art. It's being for its artistic envisions and stuff. It's for the sake of shareholder stock prices and stuff like that.
It's infinite growth. The promise of the promise of infinite growth cannot be like kept without record-breaking profits, and then the year after that, the only way you can meet that again is make those profits, but trim fat from your company. And that's one of the reasons why AI is getting to how it is. But that's a topic for another day. Now, you know, I actually recently bought, and you did too. I bought a couple new games. I bought Tamagotchi Life on the Switch, even after absolutely destroying Nintendo multiple times on this channel, and I will once again in the future. But I can't find the game locally anymore. And a bunch of like local places that I used to go to like in high school and like late middle school have been closed. So like your only options for finding like games or movies or anything like that is like Walmart and Target. And both of those places, notice how I didn't say GameStop because that place, but
I mean, GameStop doesn't sell games anymore.
No, they sell games, but like
they sell you the key card to download the game.
A lot of that. I mean, all the places do that.
Yeah, I know. But like, when was the last time you were like, damn, I really need to go to a GameStop to go buy a game?
A decade ago.
Same.
The Wii.
No, I can even tell you which game it was.
Oh, I can too.
For me, it was probably like Halo 5.
No, I got that at a clearance rack at Walmart.
That was the last game I like legitimately pre-ordered.
The last game I legitimately pre-ordered.
Like pre-ordered, showed up, and like went and got it. Like I went out of my way to go to GameStop to pre-order the game, and then showed up like the day of a release just to go pick it up.
So the last game I pre-ordered, I had to cancel my pre-order, sadly, because I had to go out of town, and I'm pissed because it was a collector's edition of a game, but like I'm like, oh, thank God, I really don't care. Was Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yeah, I think you dodged a bullet there.
So
I mean, hindsight's 2020, but that game was kind of mid.
No, Fire Emblem Three Houses is the worst thing that's happened to Fire Emblem since Fire Emblem Fates.
I don't know. Is it worse than Engage?
Engage.
The thing is, I never played Engage. I don't really know if anything really much about it other than like all the character designs look gay as hell.
Aside from the art style being bad, the gameplay is 10 times better because it plays like an actual Fire Emblem game. The only problem is every single character looks like it's, you know, a B-list VTuber.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's like the one problem that would stop me from playing it. I'd rather just go play literally any other Fire Emblem title.
Yeah. No, but
like I really enjoyed replaying through Path of Radiance and playing Radiant Dawn.
You know,
semi recently.
That's a good way to get back on topic here a little bit, dude. I love those games. I do. I thankfully own them on Like I
I
own
wish.
physical copies of both of these
Yeah, I was
games.
gonna say I wish I did.
Um,
One day I will. I'm gonna make an effort to get at least a copy of both of those games just because of how good they are.
well, the thing that sucks is like modern. It's not even that it sucks actually. That's so ass backwards. Is we live in a society that keeps telling you that physical media is dead and dying and no one fucking wants it. Yet, if that were the case, you would be able to find copies of every single item for dirt fucking cheap. But that's just not the fucking case.
Yeah, there's scalpers that are, well, the people that have caught on that, like, you own nothing and be happy is like a fucking psyop to try to like push these awful digital marketplace that like Amazon and all these big corporations want to circulate, and that you have no media of your own to go watch, and that you have to come and pay them a subscription service in order to actually watch anything that you actually want, which I think is retarded and stupid. Like I absolutely hate the idea of having to pay any company to access any form of media on a regular basis. I think it's stupid. And like, I'd rather just, okay, I'm going to buy this movie or this show that I want to watch. I'm going to put the disc in and I'm going to watch it. It's not that difficult to just put it in the fucking DVD player, Blu-ray player, whatever the hell you got. I'd rather do that than pay any sort of subscription service to go watch it at this rate.
I'm all for you. Like I'm all with you on that one. The only thing I will say is like, look, I have a lot of issues with Amazon. I really do. But like a couple weeks ago, I went to a brand new Barnes and Noble when I was on my like mini vacation.
Yeah.
And dude,
I haven't been to one of those in a while.
It's a brand new in like a city that I used to live in. Let me tell you, amazing. I wish it had been there when I lived there a decade ago. But my sister wanted a book, and I was willing to buy her that book. It was a cookbook. Something about bake or like desserts and things of that nature.
Let me guess, it was cheaper on Amazon.
Oh no! Well, hold on. I was gonna buy it for her. She wanted two of them. They were $40 each, and I don't buy them for her because she's like, no, it's fine. Like she changed her mind, and I go on Amazon. There's being cheaper, Coolshirt, and then there's being just more than half off the price of Barnes and Noble.
That's pretty bad.
Like the standard dessert one was only like $20, and the other one, which I believe was a cookie one, was like 18 something. So look, I'm 100% against Amazon as much as anyone else. I think they're cornering.
Yeah, but you went to like Barnes and Noble though. That's like the number one upcharged bookstore that I've ever been to.
But that's the problem.
I hate Barnes and Noble because of that. And that's not the only thing that's around. I mean, like the thing is that like I wish that I still had a Books A Million. That would be like the place I'd go to because they actually had decent deals sometimes. But that place closed down close to me. But I have local bookstores. That's the nice thing. There are actually some mom and pop stores that actually like in the local city because I live in a town that's really, really old and has like some touristy attractions and stuff due to like, I won't dox myself, but there's like, the
KKK
historical shit. Well, that too, but I mean, anyways, but there's like historical shit that you can go learn about and whatnot in the town I live in. So there's stuff like that you can go visit and everything, and there's lots of books in our like town, I would say. Even the library I think sells some books and stuff like that, and I think they have like a little shop there. Last time I went in, there's nothing I really wanted, but they do also sell some of the DVDs and stuff like that. And I don't know how much longer libraries are going to end up being around, but I really do hope that those are something that don't go in the like change of the era. Because I think libraries are very important, and I think that's something that needs to be encouraged for a lot more people to go to, I think, as we move into this next era.
Libraries are still used a shit ton. I mean, maybe not necessarily for books, but definitely for computers and like business stuff, like printing things.
I definitely think that's for sure, because like that's always been like the biggest use case I noticed people there for is using the computers and the printers.
Well, that's not the only thing. The last time I went, which it's been a while, but not that long, maybe a couple years, they actually rent video games and video game consoles and things like that, and movies and all that now.
They've
Like,
always been in movies and
yeah,
like stuff like that ever since I was a little kid. So
but
that's always been a thing.
they
Like
actually had like
VHS.
modern
Uh,
stuff.
Hell, they even had laser discs there. That's how crazy that shit was at my library.
I I never really went to libraries that much, and it's a societal issue because I used to have this like very pompous
Oh, you
kind
see,
of.
I'm antisocial, so libraries are perfect for me because nobody wants to talk to you there. It's amazing. It's like one of the best locations on the planet. You walk in, everyone's like, "Shut the fuck up and keep to yourself" or whatever. So when I was in like my like last couple years of like high school, I would just go and like just hang out there for hours.
Yeah.
Mostly because I had a car and I was able to. So that was the only reason. I was like, I didn't want to be at home all day, so I was like, I'd rather just go to the library and do my homework and just goof off, read some manga or read a book.
See, in high school, I live like the high school I went to was like out in the middle of nowhere. So you had to drive into town. And then once you were in town, you had to drive all the way to the other side of town just to get to the library. And
Nice.
this was a town that had multiple libraries in it.
Well, you see, this was the perk of being homeschooled. I only had like a tutorial on like one day of the week. So I'd spend like the rest of the week either working or at the library,
Yeah.
which was nice.
And
I
funny
still
enough,
kind of miss those days because the library was nice.
oh, dude, back in that time, I've told you about this place a million times, and I'm gonna say it till the day I die, probably. The library that I knew, like where it was, like the nice library, was right next to one of my favorite, like just stores of all time, which was Hastings back in the day. Was a little, or I wouldn't say little, but it was a Texas based like media store. They sold books, they sold video games, they sold all kinds of music that you could possibly ever want, and they sold collectibles and all that. But they also kind of did the GameStop thing where they took in trade-ins of all of those things minus collectibles and things.
That sounds a lot like the place up in Nashville that I go to a lot of the time called McKay's. I don't mind like just calling it that I live in Tennessee, but yeah, like was it Nashville, Tennessee? There's like this really epic like Kroger sized fucking thrift store, but like they have like new items there as well. They have like new and used, and they take a lot of donations and stuff, and you get store credit or cash and whatnot. It's pretty nice. It's got 2 stories, so I mean it's the same thing you're talking about.
Yeah, well, this one wasn't that big. It was about the size of like a small town Walmart.
And when I say two stories, it's like the second story is just like it just wraps around the building and it doesn't have like a whole floor.
Yeah, no, this one was just like a one-story place, and they sold new and they sold retro games towards the end as well. I actually
Nice.
have a bunch of stuff that I bought from there still. Like, this was around the time when Amiibo were really starting, and I bought my first Amiibo from there, my Smash Brothers Samus Amiibo.
Nice. You still, yeah, I forgot about the Amiibo collections and stuff.
Yeah. And that store was great. It lasted because there were Blockbusters still at that time, but Blockbuster kind of died.
I never actually went to a Blockbuster back when it was like big. We had this local store that we always went to that like did video rentals and like videos and stuff like that, where you could like go rent like a VHS, and they had like a little drop box out in the parking lot that you could just drive up and toss your returns into.
Oh, the Hastings had that too. Like they had a little
That's cool.
drop box like that. They actually had 2. They had the one you could drive up to, and then they had the one like on the corner, like in the wall that you could dump it into, like right outside the store. No, but
Nice.
we had a Blockbuster as well, a tiny little Blockbuster, like in a shopping, like a little strip mall. That place went almost immediately. Like that, I still remember how cleaned out that place looked. And this was a town, mind you, also that not only had Blockbuster, Hastings, they had a Barnes and Noble. I've never really been lived around a Books A Million before they shut down. You had GameStop as well. There were like local game stores. Nowadays, if you go back, there's like both local game stores are still there. I've been to one.
You ever seen a game exchange?
Yeah, that's one of them. It's a game exchange.
Yeah, we've had one of those open up here semi recently. Like I say semi recently, it's been like probably like 7 years now. But I definitely really like that store. I think that they've got a lot of really cool stuff. They've definitely like changed up like what they actually like have on the shelves and stuff over time. They actually used to sell Warhammer stuff at one point, but they stopped carrying that.
The one in that town actually does still carry Warhammer, because one time that I went up there when I first got into Warhammer, I actually bought a pack of eliminators there, and I have never used them because they're eliminators.
I you know, it's funny. I built that kit, and I've never used them once.
I've never used them. And
I recently had a game where I played against a guy who was running them, and then I wiped out his entire army, but then I forgot that he had those guys up on like the second floor of a building, and I was just like, oh. And then he had like 1,500 points of war leaders just go right for that one little squad of dudes. Because I don't have guns, so I just had to beat it up in melee.
No, and see, when I was growing up, I never really got my physical media from there, because I
didn't have one of a game exchange growing up.
There were a ton of GameStops around, but like, I didn't have the most money.
Let's get real here, though. Like, if you're buying games at GameStop, you were always getting like the used pre-owned copies with like the shitty case that was like falling apart. Am I wrong about that?
I mean, for some people, the only times I
have. I still have all those shitty cases. They have like the little GameStop like wrapping in it, and it has like the name of the game or whatever. I don't even have like the actual artwork for most of the Xbox games I have. I do for some.
I never bought my games from GameStop. They were always bought for me at GameStop. Like, my mother bought me my copy of Bravely Default back when like the game first came out. I literally bought it or wanted it because the art on the outside of the case looked really cool, which is how I used to gauge whether or not to buy a game. And
again, she just bought the cartridge.
No, she bought me a sealed copy of it. Like, I was there with her.
Oh, nice.
When I got it. I got that, and then she bought me Titanfall 2 on launch as well.
Nice.
Like, all games that I still own. And it's that GameStop where I got that Titanfall is like gone. GameStop went to shit, and it is shit. But like, still owning those copies, actually owning them, the fact that the games are on the disc, maybe less for Titanfall, because that's an Xbox One game, which is around the era of when games stopped being on discs and they started really having to be downloaded.
You have to download, yeah, because like, I mean, like the tail end of the 360 even had that with like with Halo 4 having like the 2 separate discs and all that stuff and everything.
Just 2? I own Wolfenstein: The New Order on Xbox 360, and that's 4 discs.
Oh boy, yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, we got a little excessive at the latter end of the 360 era, but I'm not going to complain. The 360 had some of the greatest memories and experiences, I think, of any console I've ever owned in my entire life.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think I've ever played one that matched it. I mean, I know a lot of people said that the PlayStation 2 was had like a similar sort of lifestyle or and whatnot. I never owned a PlayStation 2, but there are a lot of great games on the PlayStation 2, though.
I owned a PlayStation 2. I owned it when I was growing up. I loved it. For me, my personal favorite console of all time is the Nintendo 3DS. I think it's the best handheld console ever made, and it is genuinely a shame how it died, why it died, and just the fact that it's being scalped to high hell, or just upcharged to high hell nowadays, purely because, number one, Nintendo's newest consoles aren't really up to snuff as much as people claim that they are, and like greed taking advantage of people's nostalgia. And that's one of the reasons why I love physical media and all that, but like, I've really scaled back my purchasing of physical media because the prices for a lot of the things that I would want to own
It's
are
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
No, I definitely agree with you. I kind of held back as well. And like right now, kind of my strategical goal is to just get all the stuff that like I absolutely want going into the future. And then anything else I get is just novelty.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it was a bigger shift for me. Not downplaying you, because like
Yeah.
growing up, like before I met you, all of my games came from pawn shops and this really big flea market that I used to go to. And the I would haggle for game. I'd go in with $10 and I would leave with like 4 games and $5 left over. And these were games that spanned from the Xbox One era all the way to like old Nintendo, era stuff. Like I had this mentality of never pay more than $5 for a Game Boy or 3DS game or DS game, and it worked. Like I was getting Pokemon games for $2. I was getting Halo 3 year of release, like a couple months afterwards for $7.
That's wild.
Smash Brothers Melee on the GameCube for 5. Like nowadays, it's like you have to shift your mentality, and like it's technology. Like it's the internet, it's social media, it's Facebook Marketplace. No one like goes and sells their games anymore to pawn shops or at flea markets or anything like that, because one, pawn shops kind of have a stigma and they've earned it and they deserve it. But like you have price charting now that's easier than ever before to access. And look, if you're selling your games and you want to get a fair price, I understand. I'm not advocating for anyone getting ripped off, but what I am saying is it's killed the chase and the want to go out and thrift. For example, thrift stores are awful nowadays, especially Goodwill. I've had my issues with them, but like there's no chase anymore. And if you go to a pawn shop and they have a good game like a Nintendo or a Pokemon game, you're gonna be paying the exact same price for that game as if it were new. And that is
Sometimes more, depending on what it is.
yeah, like the most
Like 80 something dollars or more for like certain Pokemon games.
the most recent Pokemon game I found at a good price. And the reason I bring up Pokemon is that was my favorite thing to go and look for, because having multiple copies of Pokemon games is actually useful, at least the older stuff. Was a copy of Pokemon Y, which I paid $10 for like a year ago, and that's a deal. That is. Whereas back in the day, I would have paid maybe $5 or something like that, and I probably would have skipped over it because X and Y, in my opinion, is a below par Pokemon game. There's this local game store that's in the mall. That's the only place that has retro games, and you're paying like online prices for these games. They had a copy of Pokemon Crystal the other day. One of the few Pokemon games I don't own. They wanted $300 for it. I can't justify that. They had a copy of...
I mean, and you shouldn't. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. They had a copy of Pokemon Conquest for $100. I can't justify that. Like, these are old games that, I'm going to be honest with you, most of them exist in their own ecosystem. Like, you can't really do much with them. And especially that since a lot of these servers are shut down, or most people don't get together and like play these games anymore, there's no real reason to be spending this much money. And I hate to say it too, like, yeah, I understand that emulation is a thing and people will always tell you online, just go emulate. No,
The devil on your shoulder. Go emulate it.
I don't like emulation. I'm not gonna sit here and say don't emulate your like God's least favorite child if you do that. That's not what I'm saying. But it comes
You're
back.
pretty based if you do.
Yeah, you do what you want. I'm not your dad. But what I'll say is, for me at least, it's the ability of owning something physical, and being able to say, yeah, this is mine. Play it
It's
on
not emulation is not the same as actually like booting up the console, having the
original
startup
hardware.
menu and on the original hardware and putting it in and actually playing it and everything. And I totally agree with you on that. But with the current like price like scalping of all of the games that I want to play, and gouging, whatever you want to call it, gouging, scalpers. I mean, people like Logan Paul and these other financial investors and stuff that like have completely destroyed so many different hobbies and like mediums or whatever for collecting, like the card industry. I guess now they're moving into fucking destroy the manga collecting industry. I guess now that's, I guess, their new fucking target. I don't know why. I don't know why they're trying to fucking put a bunch of manga into like those like plastic like grading boxes. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, if I'm gonna buy a book, I want to read it. Why would I put it in a glass box or plastic? I guess it's not really glass, but you know what I mean. It's fucking retarded.
It's one of those, the way I view it, because I hate grading as well. Talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to bring up, just because like that is a part of the reason why I think some of these like certain like hobbies have become so inaccessible because of this whole like, oh, it might be worth something, let me go get it graded or whatever, by these like, I don't even know what are they even grading it for? Like, what's the point?
So the way it quote unquote
bragging rights.
So the way it quote unquote works, okay, you know how I'm going to use the trading card analogy here, and this is
because the book one doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, we'll get to
the trading card one. I get like that's been around for a long time.
So it's not just books, by the way. They do this now. This is bled over into video games. This is bled over into movies and even like toys. All right. So the way it is whenever you open a pack of cards, and let's say you get the chase variant of the card. All right. A scam artist told somebody that, hey, if you send me the card and pay money, I will evaluate the card using a arbitrary system, and I will take said card and give it a rating between 1 and 10. But on top of that, you can have a 10 with other bullshit, depending on where you send it. And that, like, if you do that, it adds more value, because you no longer just have a regular card. You now have a tier above it. It's kind of like trying to create a level,
arbitrary, like,
an arbitrary level,
rare card.
Yeah, an arbitrary level that makes it supposedly worth more money as long as it's inside this plastic case. But there's, funny enough, and this is mainly in the card industry right now. So there's a lot of old cards that were graded years ago, all right, that have been graded as like high levels, but they quote unquote claim that grading standards have improved. So they want you to resend these cards in so that they can give them a new grade, so that if they grade them with these quote unquote stricter standards, it will increase the value even more. Because I don't know, fucking more people.
But like, I've heard so much about some of these grading companies being completely just full of shit.
That they are. I mean, the best example of something I can tell you that was a big ass waste of money and pile of shit. Do you remember here recently, within the past year? And by the way, before I continue anymore, this is a post 2020 issue. It was bad before 2020. I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't.
But it got a lot worse after 2020.
Yeah, but it's been amplified since 2020, and it's not going away, no matter what happens. No, a copy of Super Mario 64, sealed and graded, sold for millions of dollars.
Bruh.
Well, and here's the thing. From a collector standpoint, and people are different, I understand, but from a collector standpoint, what the hell is the point of having a collection of video games, of movies, of books, if their entire job is to sit on a shelf
And collect dust.
And collect dust. They're not action figures. Or no, I'm sorry. Action figures shouldn't even be in the same. They're not statues.
They're not the same cover. They're not statues. Action figures have, the appeal of actually being able to be
played with,
placed on a shelf and kind of cool.
I go up to my Transformers shelf and I'll pull, for example, I have Wind Charger right there for all the one Wind Charger fan in the world. And I'll pull him off the shelf whenever I want.
90% of people don't even know who that is.
Probably.
I would actually say 99% of people.
Okay, fine. Bumblebee. I'll pull Bumblebee off the shelf.
Okay, everybody knows who that is.
Yeah, and transform him. And it's the same level that you get with fidgeting with a fidget toy or messing with a Rubik's Cube. And whatever makes something collectible and arbitrary or is such an arbitrary thing. Yeah, I understand that companies, and especially Walmart and Amazon, they don't stock things correctly. All right, they used to.
As somebody who used to stock that shit, we don't.
They used.
I don't work for Walmart anymore, but man, I did not give a shit about how it went on the shelf. I just was like, as long as it's there, who cares?
They used
even though it's funny because I was I stocked the shelves in the electronics department with all the collectibles and everything, but I was also one of the customers, so all the stuff I was like, oh, if I'm taking it out of the pallet jack or whatever to go set it out, I would always set aside the shit I'm gonna buy before I put it out onto the floor.
I mean, that's part of the problem with scalping that we have nowadays.
Yeah, but I wasn't scalping stuff though. It was like a shitty controller with one of those off-brand controllers with the Legend of Zelda freaking print on it.
Yeah, that they do that for that now too.
I wasn't scalping it. I was actually buying it to use it.
I know you weren't, but
we had plenty of them on the shelf too. They never even sold out. I don't even think.
Those Switch ones, I'm pretty sure. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're Switch ones. Yeah, it was a Switch Breath of the Wild controller.
Those are the ones that I have the Skyward Sword Joy-Cons.
It wasn't even Joy-Cons. It was those crappy off-brand controllers that have the artwork on it.
Those crappy fucking plastic.
Broken 3 weeks. It was dog shit. Yeah, that thing was awful. Anyways, yeah, but that's the barrier to entry to getting into physical media in the current era is very difficult. But if you grew up and you have a lot of this stuff already, a lot of people probably have a DVD player or something like that, or just some level of way to access this type of media. Hell, even if you just have an Xbox, but an Xbox with a disc drive is kind of a rare commodity these days, is it not? I guess so.
Not really. I mean, honestly, if you want to get into gaming and you also want to watch movies, I would recommend that you go and either buy a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox One, depending on your price point,
or a cheap PS4, because honestly, PS4s aren't that bad, price wise these days. I got one for dirt cheap a long time ago. It was a PS4 Slim, and I got 2 controllers for it. Even though I've never actually played a multiplayer game on there before with a friend.
Yeah. Before we continue on, another really good way to grow your collection. Let's say you don't have anything and you really want to. I give Goodwill a lot of shit, but if you're not, let's say you just want to start collecting movies, your local Goodwill is going to have a shit ton of movies, and
yeah,
there's still going to be, you need to do your homework a little bit, check the disc, do all that. But
I would definitely do some research on how to clean discs and whatnot.
Yeah. And
it's not super hard.
Certain Walmarts as well. If you go into an updated Walmart, I have one near me that just recently updated that added all the digital tags and all those. Skip over those. Those suck. They don't even have a.
But the old $5 bin though.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you can find these will mainly be Walmarts a little more out of the way in either
in the middle of buttfuck nowhere.
In smaller towns, or the one on the side of town where it's a lot lower income level, but not so low income that they have to put everything behind glass.
If everything's behind glass, there's a high chance that there's not a $5 bin. So you got to find that happy sweet spot.
Yeah, and those places still exist. That is where I would recommend you start. I mean, and you can grab a TV from Walmart too. I mean, fucking Walmart sell TVs for what rent should cost, you know? So
I say that, but like I got my TV from Walmart, but the only reason I bought it there was because I was the one who I was the guy in charge of putting them out on the shelves. So
I'm bougie. I bought mine from Target.
Nice.
But I'm also brand loyal to a very specific brand. So
which brand?
Westinghouse.
Oh, they don't even sell that at Walmart.
No, I'm very brand.
Why specifically Westinghouse?
So I've
never even really heard much. I've never heard a good review about them.
So back when I was in high school, I bought a brand new Westinghouse TV, and it worked perfectly fine until the warranty shit out, and then the TV shit out. I took the warranty the TV back to the place I bought it, and they called Westinghouse and explained everything and said that the warranty expired, and Westinghouse still said, box the thing up, send it to us, and we'll fix it. And they fixed it. Nice. Free of charge, absolutely nothing, shipped directly back to the store. Mind you, this was not like a Best Buy or anything like that. It was a grocery store. And
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and ever since that, I still have that TV. It still works perfectly fine. And from that moment on, they earned my business. And the moment that I saw a Westinghouse TV on clearance, I bought it. It's just a Roku Westinghouse TV, and that's my main go-to smart TV that I use for, everything.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, you do that, and you're kind of golden. Honestly, I mean, you can even go to Goodwill, and if you're persistent and you really look and you shop sales, you can actually find like TV stands for a good price. DVD stands show up there all the time. I actually bought like a bunch of those like storage cassette racks from there to store your cassette tapes, because I actually have a very small but like collection of cassettes that I have. I've bought a couple very nostalgic VHSs from there as well. The most recent thing was I bought an animated episode of Liberty Kids on VHS, if anyone knows what that is.
I don't even know what that is.
Yes, you do. It's this old PBS show. It was like a little educational thing that took place during the American Revolution.
I'm Googling this.
Yeah.
Never mind. I do know what this is.
I was
Never
about
mind.
to say,
my
he's
bad.
gonna
Yeah,
see it,
my bad.
And
yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Fuck. Damn it, man. You got me.
I bought that there. I found the Fire Emblem VHS there a couple times. If you get really, really lucky, and I'm talking super lucky, because Goodwill doesn't put all the really good shit out anymore. That gets sent back to corporate, and they put it on their auction website now. And their auction website is absolute dog shit. It's like, I have my issues with it, but I legally can't say anything because they could sue us because of my suspicions are that level. But what I will say is you can still find some.
Allegedly, they're ass.
No, they're worse than ass.
They're predatory.
No, like I'm talking like shady, illegal shit level of ass.
I'd believe you on that one.
Stuff that I have like no other than like, trust me, bro. I don't have any evidence, so I'm not gonna say anything.
All right, neckbeard.
Trust me, bro. No, I've actually you can find manga there every once in a while. I mean, if you're into cooking and cookbooks, you can find a fuck ton of those there. But I've actually found Warhammer books there. The 2 Warhammer books that I own came from Goodwill.
Nice.
And it's such a shame, just the way that the world seems to want to throw away physical media. And the reason why, like, we've been pushed towards streaming, and not only on your TV, but like your game systems, and now it's bleeding into PC as well, is what's it called? Convenience. That's the word I'm looking for.
I'll be honest though, with the size of video games these days on like computer and whatnot, I mean, if these companies actually learned a way to fucking, compress their files and put them on like a cartridge or disc or something like that, I'd be like, I'd rather buy it that way than have to buy it digitally any day of the week. But I kind of doubt that there's any incentive to want to do that.
Yeah. I mean,
because it's taken the like control back into the developers, where the distribution is like specifically with Steam, less than it is with Xbox and PlayStation and whatnot, where they have full control over how the distribution of their games go, which is pretty cool. Because like, yeah, you can put it on Steam and Steam takes like 30% or whatever, but you can also like, you know, sell keys on like key websites and stuff as well. You make a lot of money that way.
Yeah. I mean, Steam is also just a very good storefront. It's one of the very few pro-consumer like platforms
marketplaces left. Yeah,
it is.
It's a dying bastion.
It is a real shame because even on Steam you technically don't own your games technically, and I still have my own issues of not, you know, buying. Like, Steam kind of killed my drive to go out and shop, as well as a bunch of the other things I mentioned earlier in this episode.
Yeah,
because like I can just buy
online shopping has just become so much easier.
Yeah,
but I enjoy the idea of like walking around and like actually getting on your knees and like digging through the shelves of like thrift stores or just stores in general. I kind of miss that experience.
Yeah, but they don't have shit anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. Well, I mean, even if they do have anything that's actually valuable, it's always locked behind a glass door and sold at like a ridiculous price.
I mean,
that's not worth the money.
Yeah, I understand why it's locked behind that like plastic or glass. I understand that. We live in a very low trust society right now here in America.
Yeah.
I will say this. I'm not a fan of Japan, but I am absolutely blown away by the way that their stores are able to operate and some of the like really cool arcades and places that they have.
Well, because they have a very high trust society.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to in America at one point.
Yeah.
But that's died.
No, yeah.
It's really depressing.
And the convenience factor of all of this, it's like, yeah, everything's more expensive too. I get that. But like, even if it was, if you would tell me that once a month you'll find something truly great for a truly good price, I'd go hunt. I'd hunt every weekend. But you're never going to beat the unemployed people. By the way, they call them side hustles, or they call it getting that bag, you know, or entrepreneurs, as they like to call themselves now, you know.
Yeah, the eBay scalpers.
eBay resellers, maybe not even scalpers, just resellers. People that go and buy, like, there's entire tutorials on YouTube for this shit where they go to stores, and it's not just Goodwill, mind you, it's everywhere, and they find deals or whatever on some of the stupidest shit that you could think of. I know one was like a coffee maker. I saw that it's like a $200-300 coffee maker that was on sale for $50, but you had to jump through 5 different fucking hoops. The guy went in, jumped through all the hoops, cleared out the fucking coffee makers, and put them up on eBay for what they were being sold for before the clearance.
Dang.
All in one video.
That's crazy.
And if they're willing to do that for coffee makers, why are we surprised at the state of TCGs everywhere? Why are we surprised at the state of collector's editions or pre-ordered figures or anything like that, you know? And no amount of gatekeeping will ever fix this fucking problem.
No, it's already too far gone.
Yeah. I mean,
honestly, the market's just going to eventually crash.
Yeah. This has been a pretty doom and gloom episode, but I'll bring it back around with this. I don't think as much
on the positive note. I think that I got something for that actually. The positives of actually owning like physical media and actually having it and then that ability to like, you know, access your content at any time is something that nobody can take away from you. Unless your house burns down, but you know, that's besides the point.
Well, that's why you get insurance with a good insurance company.
Good insurance company. There you go, and then you're set. But like, it's nice to like be able to just like instead of browsing through like for hours on like a streaming service for like what movie you want to watch, you already know what movie you're gonna watch because like you have, you know, like you can flip through all the different like either DVDs or books or whatever you want to watch. Doesn't matter what media it is. It could be any type of media. And you're like, okay, I want to watch this, or I want to read this, or I want to play this game, and then you pop it in and play it.
Yeah, You kick
and you
back.
spent your hard-earned money on that piece of media, and you get to enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't think physical media is going anywhere in the short term. I do think that it's at risk of going away within the next decade.
I agree.
I really do. There with the push of subscription services, the way it's going to happen, the way I see it is as soon as subscriptions truly take over, there will be no reason to ever put anything onto a disc or anything like that ever again. And you will see physical media truly start existing. You'll see TVs, they already don't have disc drives, they haven't had them in a while, but you'll have consoles with no discs or cartridge slots. You'll have computers already don't have slots for discs, things of that nature, unless you buy a specialty case that allows for that. But
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you still have the tools, if the people that are in control of the production and of these properties don't allow you to own said item, because they'll say it's because there's not enough demand for it. That's a lie. There will always be a demand for ownership as long as, communism doesn't take over. But
Yeah.
the best thing you can do, in my opinion, is, I remember cut the cord was a big thing when streaming services started coming out. I would start cutting your streaming services. I really would, because I don't know many people that like.
That's been my big push recently. One of the things I've been trying to push out of my life is any sort of reliance on any type of streaming service. Doesn't matter what it is.
In my opinion, the best streaming service that was ever made was Xbox Game Pass when it first launched. It's not that anymore.
I still think that it's one of the worst directions games has ever, the gaming industry's ever been in.
It's an attention span thing. I don't like it. I agree with you on it, because it has that streaming service problem where I feel like a majority of truly dedicated fans of a medium, whether it's TV, movies, or games, you have your niches and you know what you like, and you're going to either do one of two things. You're going to try out the new thing that's in your niche, which niches are getting smaller and smaller every single year, or you're going to just rewatch or play old things that you've seen a million times or played a million times that already have physical versions, most of which, especially for movies and TV shows, you can find for dirt cheap, even older games as well, as long as they're not Nintendo. And you can acquire them for a lot cheaper than you'll spend on these streaming services over the long run, and you don't have to worry about the streaming service taking said item off of their stream, because their streaming service, because their licensing agreement runs out.
Gotcha.
A good example I can give is I used to use Netflix a lot. They got rid of How I Met Your Mother off of Netflix. I stopped using Netflix. I never paid for it. I always used someone else's account, but I switched over to where they have How I Met Your Mother. I own it on, I own the full thing on DVD. The moment that they start pulling these things off is the moment that I just say, all right, I don't need this anymore. I own everything I want. I still need a couple things. I want to get regular show. I want to get Adventure Time. I know you and I are kind of on this.
I'm actually really lucky that I already have all the seasons of regular show that I want to own.
Yeah.
I have the first couple seasons of that show on DVD. I've had it since I was a kid, which is nice.
I own G1, G1 Transformers on DVD. I need to get the rest. But I own I
just saw the it was on sale on Amazon for the whole DVD collection, and I was like, hell yeah. The only thing I don't have is I don't have a updated copy of the movie.
Yeah.
My old disc is broken, which I'm actually considering getting this new one that they're releasing, the 40th anniversary. Maybe they'll do a new release for it or something like that.
They probably will. I mean, they did one for the 35th anniversary, so they probably will. No, but like
But yeah,
I'm not gonna give up on physical media. I will always find a spot for it. It's not that hard to store as some people say, you know, that
yeah.
it is. But if
Maybe
you
I'm weird and I like having like not a cluttered room, but I like having like, a purpose to the space in my room. And I like to, like I like the idea of having like a, your dedicated TV, shelf with all that stuff, or a music like collection shelf or something like that, or just those types of things, just because it's the type of stuff I grew up around.
Yeah. And my last thing that I'll say is if you the one thing these companies don't want is for you to have freedom. Not necessarily
Well,
like
yeah.
they don't want to turn you into a slave. I'm not going to say that. I'm
All
not.
right, all right, we got to put the the Braveheart fucking thing on the cover of the video.
There you go.
We're trying to take away our freedom.
Well, yeah, there you go. No, but what I am saying is they don't want you to have the freedom to choose what you are able to
Experience
They
and
want
enjoy.
you to
You know,
experience their stuff their way.
their curated way of um
And
having the content and stuff. And like another thing that I don't even bring up very often is like the fact that like I'm sure that they're like editing these old movies and stuff that they're putting on these streaming services and stuff like that, that I just don't know it.
no,
And there's
that's been
probably
confirmed.
content that's probably been confirmed, but like that's another thing we're losing is like the originality of that content, and maybe even like some of the messaging of the movies and content that we used to grow up on is being lost because of the fact that we don't have like the digital records and stuff. That's something I it's like very stark that I realize whenever I go watch the VHS of Star Wars, like the original trilogy and stuff, and I watch the Blu-rays like and compare them. I'm like, it's very obvious, like the sound design, the like CGI stuff that George Lucas added in later on. Like there was already CGI stuff put on some of the VHS tapes and stuff from some of the versions that I have, but there's differences between the way that Star Wars was whenever it first came out versus what it looks like on like streaming services today.
Yeah,
And that's not even like outside of George Lucas's tampering. That was all done by him mostly, but like there is just that part of the experience that you're missing out on, which I think is interesting, and I think is something that some people probably don't even know about.
yeah. I mean, it's been happening in normal, like in TV shows on streaming services now. They completely cut out entire episodes, whether it's because of something malicious, like they don't agree with the messaging, or it's not up to modern societal acceptance, or the non-malicious one, which is they just don't have straight up entire episodes of some shows because of licensing issues with like music and things like that.
Yeah, that's a big thing, is the licensing issues and stuff like that. It's not even really the content of the episode, it's really just the licensing stuff. That is another thing I've noticed.
Yeah. But if you really want to be free, ownership is the way to freedom, because if you really need to trim down on a lot of these expenses that you have, in my opinion, streaming should be the first one to go, and it should be replaced with stuff that you enjoy. And if you enjoy new things, new shows that are coming out now, more power to you. And you want to put that towards streaming, more power to you. I'm not telling you to go and cut the cord tomorrow if you're a big fan of
The Boys.
Come on, man. Actually, something that if
I was saying that as a joke.
Yeah.
Because I've been hearing it's been pretty rough lately for those fans.
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
Once again, come on, man, something good. Game of Thrones. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Like, name me a good show that's come out recently.
I can't, because I don't really watch.
Gun to my head, pull the trigger. I don't know. That's the problem.
I mean, there's a lot of like ongoing series that I like that are still like ongoing that are on streaming. That's all I can give you. But like everything that's older that I enjoy, I own on DVD, or I'm actively taking steps to get it on DVD. You know, I mean, I also need to go and get one of those like little battery powered TVs as well. Like that would just be kind of nice to have.
That'd be nice.
I think that's about it. You got anything else to say?
We must fight for our freedom.
Yep.
from these overlords that are trying to take away our leisurely time and enjoyment of life in general.
Enjoyment of absolute peak shows like Love Island
and Transformers G1.
Don't ever put both of those in the same box. Ever.
I had to. Anyways.
All right.
I think that'll do it for us.
Yep. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. There's, of course, all the algorithm stuff, like, comment, sub, all that stuff. I got Twitter down in the description. I also have the Spotify link. Remember, if purchase isn't ownership, piracy isn't theft. Take care of yourselves.